Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show.
I'm back with Diane Huth, and she is a career coach. She calls herself the accidental career coach, but she actually helps people who are 50 plus learn how to go out and get that other job or get a contractual job or make an impact so that they are even considered for a job. And some of the things that we've been talking about is how you have to really keep up on your technology skills and that you have to embrace lifelong learning. And you need to get certified in certain industries in order to have a shot. But another thing that I know is of interest to you, Diane, and I'd like you to talk about it because this is something that's right up my alley, and that is to look as young as you can without looking silly and adopt younger actions and habits. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I definitely talk about that because ageism exists, and our goal in trying to find a job is to try and erase the impact of age through perception. And it's not vanity, it is being relatable to people who are hiring you or working for you. You don't necessarily want to appear like somebody's grandparent because they will associate and treat you like they would a grandparent. So you need to try and erase the barriers of age so you're seen as a peer instead of an older person who is not as relevant to many people. And a lot of these things are very simple. It's things we don't think about, but it starts to me with your hair. Every woman and every man can have a makeover. For under $500, you can go to a beauty parlor, get your hair cut, styled, get a new makeup, go to a makeup counter or go and Mary Kay or any of the makeup companies and ask, do makeovers, refresh your makeup. A girlfriend sent me a link to some YouTube videos, and the one she sent was the mistake that older women make with makeup. And I watched the videos like, oh my God, I do every one of those. So I had to, it's like, oh, black eyeliner. I've worn black eyeliner forever. Dark gray eyeshadow. Okay. And this woman showed the pre and post, like, this is what you look, this is what you should be doing. So I had to completely redo my makeup because we become comfortable with ourselves, but we need to be objective. For men, that means, in my modest opinion, shaving off that white beard. Nothing makes a man look older than white facial hair. And white hair in general. You can color your hair, get it professionally colored so you don't look, like you've got, fake hair. But do some things that look younger. Wardrobe makeovers are really easy. We, as Americans, tend to have about 10 times more clothing than we need. And so as a woman, for example, you need to go through your wardrobe and look at everything you've got and say, do I look and feel fabulous in this? And if the answer is no, then you don't want it in your wardrobe. And for a few $100, you can update some suits, some jackets, couple of accessories, shoes, get rid of everything with the big shoulder pads, and get some professional help. Go to a department store, whatever store you feel comfortable in, and ask a personal shopper there to help you. And so you can do things like that. Teeth are very important. You can bleach your teeth. You can whiten your teeth. Some people, as you get older, you lose your teeth or your teeth get really bad. So you really need, teeth will make you look older. So you need to lighten your teeth. And today they have dental implants, which are expensive, but very valuable in terms of restoring a smile. You can do, if you're over 65, like me, you can get, if you have droopy eyelids that impact your vision, Medicare will pay to have upper eyelid surgery to get rid of those droopy eyes and open your eyes up. So there are things that you can do that way. And then you need to embrace younger behaviors. That includes, one of the key things is to walk briskly and energetically. A lot of people have an old person shuffle. You need to be conscious of the way that you walk. I have a friend who is in his 60s and he works for an aviation company. And so he schools himself to kind of jog across the tarmac at the airport, right? Across these big hangars so that he has that brisk, as opposed to walking slowly. So how you walk and how you raise your head and your posture and looking forward instead of down at your feet. Glasses is one of the easiest things. Everybody over 40 has glasses. Lose the glasses and you lose 10 or 15 years off the way you look. You can get contact lenses. As you get over in Medicare age, if you have cataracts, and most of us do, the government will pay to replace your cataracts. They will not pay the $5,000 for the fancy lenses that get rid of the glasses. You can make that choice. But by losing glasses, you really refresh the way you look and the way you feel. And then other behaviors like presentation, the way we communicate. Gayle, when you and I were growing up, we learned proper grammar. We learned how to diagram sentences. We learned how to be very thorough in communication. Today, people live in a Twitter world of 144 characters. So one of the hardest things, I think, is to change your communication style to be more relevant. And that means to be brief, terse, highlight things. A few years ago, I would write like a 3-page email, single-spaced with we had a meeting. Here's the minutes of the meeting. Absolutely everything that you would need to know about that meeting. So if this minute, were pulled up 5 years from now, you would know exactly what went on. Nobody's going to read that today. So instead, a communication might be a half-page with bullets and highlights and just kind of recapping key things you talked about, and then contact me if you have any information. And then you might send that out by email. And then when you send an important email, send a text message saying, I just sent you an important email, please read it. Because today people aren't even reading emails.
Well, it's interesting. I want to touch upon some of the things that you've been talking about, Diane. First of all, there's just not too much you can't learn by going to YouTube. So some of the suggestions that Diane's made about looking at your makeup or even the way you dress or any of those things, you will probably find somewhere a video on it on YouTube. So that's number one. Number two is going to the department store that you really trust and like. And many of them do have personal shoppers. Some do not. But if they have a personal shopper, they will take you around and get you fit with a basic wardrobe of 5, 6, 7 pieces that you can switch and work with, and they have accessories too that will make you look younger and in style. And if not, there are many image consultants out there who can do this. And interestingly, Diane, nobody really knows this about me, but my first big business was the modeling business. So I worked with image, and I worked with fashion, and I worked with how you look, and did huge fashion shows and things like that. So this is ingrained in me, not only from that, but also from my mom, who was a fashionista. But all of the things that you said, I mean, people don't think about. They just say, well, if they don't like me the way I am, then they just won't take me. Well, you're right. They won't take you. So it's very important. And then again, about glasses, you don't really think about that. I do wear contacts. I've worn them since I was 18 years old. And I still wear them today and swear by them. And also, when we talk about hairstyles, very current, that kind of thing. The important thing is, yes, teeth make a difference. You want to make sure your teeth are really great looking, because that's the first thing when you start to talk. And when you smile, and hopefully you will smile like crazy, your teeth look good. And so I think it's really important to pay attention to what Diane has said. And then this last point that you made, Diane, about the way that you walk and talk, you've got to be energetic when you go into these people and talk with them. You've got to look like you've got energy, and you're not going to fall asleep at the desk. So, do walk in with I have an interview today that I'm going on for a particular thing, and I've already figured out what I'm going to wear, and it's going to make me look very contemporary and so forth and so on. And I am very conscious of every place I go and how I look. So what she has just given you is like an encyclopedia of what you should do to get a job. So again, let's ask about the fact that we know the economy is doing well. We know unemployment is low. Does this or does this not make it easier for older workers who are looking for a job?
Oh, it definitely does. And if you fix just a few things to overcome concerns about, you were talking about energy, age, technology, and fitting in, if you can do a few things to make an employer feel more comfortable, then you ought to be able to find a good position and stay within the company. You don't need to change jobs. You can do get a promotions or raises within your company, or a lateral transfer, or you can change jobs where you're more valued. But it's based on not 40 years of experience, but relevant skills, that I have this skill set that you need. And some of those skill sets are kind of intangibles that we talked about, your value as a senior employee or a leveraged employee, where you bring a whole skill set, communication skills, industry know-how and knowledge. I'm doing a resume right now for a fellow, and he's fairly young. He's been working in the aviation industry for 17 years. But it's like, when I look at your skills and experience, like, wow, you have so much industry knowledge. He started as a purser or a steward 18 years ago and worked up to a senior manager for a major airport, one of the largest airports in the world. When I look at his breadth of industry experience, those skills are unusual today. But he was going to take all that off his resume. Well, if he's not working in aviation, then I'd probably take that off. But if he's in aviation, he can say, I know what it's like to be at the ground level in a plane, in an airport, checking people in, serving them coffee. I know what the challenges of our industry are. I am a certified commercial pilot. I know what pilots face. So therefore, I have this broad span of experience that brings unique perspectives that many people don't have in terms of industry legacy knowledge. So that's one way to position it. But it's also what you can do. One of the things I'm doing is I'm getting ready to launch a new resume writing course with kind of a unique way of positioning it. And it is really being focused on the employer's goals and not your goals, and being able to understand what the employer wants you to do and clearly explain how your skills will contribute to making the employer's goal concrete to make it happen. And synthesizing your skills.
So again, going back to this resume writing, because sometimes it becomes like a bibliography. A resume should still be on a single sheet of paper. Is that correct?
It can be, yes. And the way I position it is, a resume is not a historical biography of everything you've done. It is a print ad, just like an ad for Nike or any other product, where you're going to give enough information to engage the reader and to reassure him that you're of value, but to intrigue him enough that he wants to pick up the phone and talk with you. So it looks at it completely differently than a boring, monotonous list of everything I've done. And I encourage everybody to transform an understanding of your history from the tasks that you did to the accomplishments that you achieved. So instead of saying, I did this and this and this, no, I achieved this, I grew that, I developed this. And one of the little secrets is to quantify every achievement with either a dollar sign, a number, or a percentage. So if you say, okay, I need to quantify this because numbers are universal and go across industry. But if I can show that I managed people, I managed budgets, I grew sales, I grew efficiencies, I impacted whatever it is favorably, and you do that through numbers, then that makes you much more relevant. And we tend not to think that way. And even last night I was teaching a class at Texas A&M, and we were talking about resumes, and people say, well, I haven't really done anything. I just worked as, an airline, as a hotel reservationist in a call center for 3 years. Okay, How many clients did you serve a day? Well, I had 100 clients. What is the average ticket? Well, $120. Okay, you were doing $12,000. Is that $12,000 a day of revenue times 5 days a week? You were generating $60,000 a week times 4 is $240,000 a month. You were a $3 million revenue producer, right? You take it from the task of I answered the phone and booked reservations to I generated $3 million of incremental revenue for my client through customer service. And in the process, I served X thousands of customers over a 3-year period of time, and I grew average ticket by 15%. All of a sudden, that makes you relevant to any employer because you're a results-oriented achiever as opposed to a person who just does routine tasks. So you need to recast what you've done in life and say, how can I quantify this? Right?
You know, that is absolutely brilliant, Diane. I love that. I would never have thought about that.
And it's
how you position yourself. It's all about how you take what you've done, providing you've done it well, and quantifying it to the point where it's tangible for the person who's looking at your resume.
Right. It also shows a mentality that you're achievement oriented as opposed to task oriented. So we need to recast our thinking in that way, and it will do you very good at your job if you start thinking about how you've achieved things and what you've achieved, because that's what your employer's looking at. Your employer's going to look at performance metrics. Why aren't you?
Well, that's true. That is so true. So, you know, when we look at all the things we've been talking about, in reality, okay, let's say that you coach somebody, you taught somebody, they know they've got to look a certain way, they know they've got to have these fabulous skills, they have to know how to communicate well, their body language has to be good, they walk into an interview with lots of enthusiasm and lots of, spit and fire. What is the reality of them really being considered for the job that they're going for? What are some of the percentages?
I think it can be very high if they do the right things at an interview and before an interview. Okay. What I recommend is, and people go, no, you're not real. And before you go to any interview, I think everybody should spend between 4 and 8 hours of research on the company, on the industry, on what's going on in the company, the people you're going to be meeting, so that you really understand what the company is all about, what's going on in the industry. Because if you do the right research and you have the credentials for the job, you're interviewing for a job that you're qualified for, you want to elevate the conversation from an interview to an industry discussion of pain points. So if you do the right research, instead of somebody saying, tell me about yourself, what you want to say is, I understand that this industry has been going through a technological transformation. Your company has really been leading the way, but I still see a transformational change with new competitors coming in. I'd love to talk about the ways that you are recasting your performance to try and drive market share in a technologically changing world. All of a sudden, you're talking as a peer about what the hiring manager is concerned about, and not trying to sell your credentials. You are selling your credentials by showcasing your understanding of the business, the company, what's going on, and your professional maturity to be able to elevate the conversation to the things that are really important to the employer. And that puts you on a completely different level. And I think we as experienced professionals can do that.
You're interviewing them in a way, rather than them interviewing you. You're going in there with an agenda of your own and questions of your own that might take the interviewer a little off their game.
Everybody loves talking about themselves. That's human nature. And if you can change the conversation from focusing on, do I, the interviewee, have the skills, to how can we collaboratively help you meet your goals, it recasts the whole conversation. It puts you on a peer level with the people you're engaging with, and it brings you in as a team member who is helping them collectively to solve the problem, puts you in a completely different level. And you
Wow.
do that through
Never,
research and knowing in the industry.
yeah, I never really thought about all those things, Diane. I mean, you can certainly see why you're the expert career coach, that's for sure. So, if you are working with one of our listeners who, well, first of all, the person has to have the get up and go to get what it is they're looking for. A lot of people just go for a job because they're looking for a job. They want to make some more money. But if they're really intent about having a second career, then they really have to do a lot of work. So is there a difference between wanting to start a second career and then just getting a job?
A lot of people are working for the money. You need a job. We all need to pay the bills. We all need to keep a roof over the head. We need to feed ourselves and take care of our families. However, everybody deserves to have a job that they love. So you just have to figure out what it is. And a lot of people, as they get older, you change. On average, you have 3 to 5 different careers, not jobs, careers in your life. Because if you're going to work for 50 years, and most of us will work at least 50 years, you're going to change. You're no longer the kid you were at 22 when you started out, or at 30 when you were raising your family, or at 45 when your kids were going off to college. You are a different person professionally. You have aged, and on average, we change every 7 to 10 years. So you want to do different things too. Your skills have changed, your interests have changed, your life experience has changed. So it's good to embrace something new. I don't want the same job I had 20 years ago. I'd be bored. I've already done that. I've already mastered that. I want to do something else. So we should be looking to find work in something that is meaningful. For some people, it means just all I want to do is work my 8 hours, then go invest my time and energies in a nonprofit and caring for my family, whatever. But for a lot of it, I call it moving from success to significance. So you can change what you do. A lot of people, as they get older, they start their own business because their passions are different, their experience is different. Some because they can't get a traditional job, so you start your business like your consulting business, or you decide I have always wanted to have a restaurant, I've always wanted to do this, and you start your own business, or you have a longer term perspective and you get involved with nonprofits or things that an NGO, something that gives back to the community. So you move from success to significance at your current stage in life. So we want to be changing what we do. I don't want to do what I did 40 years ago, right?
That's true. So all right, Diane, let's tell people how they can get in touch with you, what you might have to offer the audience, and the best way to reach you.
Well, the best way is my website, which is my name, Diane Huth, DianeHuth.com. And I have 2 books which are available on Amazon. And I would like to give a gift to everybody. I have a cheat sheet on how to build a powerful resume, and it's going to be available at resumebuildercheatsheet.com, resumebuildercheatsheet.com. And I also have a free download of the 10 reasons that companies should be hiring you as a mature professional, the 10 things that we add value and that we need to learn to claim, to own, and express as a mature professional. And you can find that at reinventmycareerplease.com. Reinventmycareerplease.com. And it's a free gift. It's a free PDF download that might give you some insights into where you add value to an employer that you might not have thought about or understood the value that you offer.
Well, those are great, great gifts, Diane. So thank you very much for that. And remember how Diane spells her name. Although it's pronounced Huth, it's spelled Huth. So it's Diane, Diane, Huth, HUTH.com. So if you go there, I think you'll find what you need. She's got 2 books on Amazon. She's got a cheat sheet for you. She's got some significant points and another sheet for you. I think, Diane, this has been so helpful for our audience because I know there's a lot of people out there who are, they're in the situation we've been talking about. They consider themselves unemployable. People are not hiring them, and so they're going to have to do some fine tuning to make sure that they are even in the pool of running. And that's the other thing. There, even though they say it's low unemployment, when you apply for a job that's out there, whatever way, whether it's through a referral or whether it's posted somewhere, there are hundreds and hundreds of applicants. And so, you really have to stand out from the crowd if you want to make sure that that you're paid attention to. So we're just about at the end, Diane. We have maybe 30 seconds left. Is there anything else you would like to tell our audience?
Yes, I think this is a great time to be doing anything career-wise, because you mentioned it, Gayle. Absolutely everything you want to know is available for free today on YouTube. There is nothing that you need to know that you cannot find between Google and YouTube. So in the past, knowledge was very expensive. Today it is accessible to everybody, and there's no excuse financially or access-wise to say, oh, I can't learn new things, I can't develop new skills, I can't increase my technology. It is all out there and it's free. And it really is a choice to embrace lifelong learning. And I can't think of anything more satisfying than continuing to grow. I get Social Security, thank God. I have Medicare, thank God. I would not need to work, but what would I do for the next 25 years of my life? Sit and watch soap operas and eat bonbons? I want to continue to grow and develop and learn. And I'm learning more today in my 60s than I did 20 years ago, because the older you get, the more that you know that you don't know. And so I spend at least 2 hours a day learning.
Diane, because we are out of time, but thanks so much for being with us. And we loved all the information you gave us today. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gayle, and thanks to all your listeners for their time and attention.